Shabbat Shalom, everyone. How great for us to come together on this rainy evening to bring a little peace and bring a little joy to our Shabbat. In order to do that, I am curious if anyone has something good that's happened recently for them that they want to share. I'll come to you in a moment. Well, hopefully it's working. Do you guys hear this microphone? I don't hear this microphone either. Well, while you're thinking about the wonderful things that you're going to share, I don't know. Well, we're going to use it even though we don't hear it in the space, because maybe people will hear it at home. But I've got a lot of buttons up on the Bimba now, and it just got an upgrade. They hear it at home. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Okay, you got something to share? What's something great that's happened that you're bringing to Shabbat?
I don't think they can hear this. But I'm going to get to hang out with my grandmother over there.
Very cool. Just the two of you? Yeah. That's cool. You get a sleepover? Yeah. Very cool. And we send you strength. Yes. Something to share?
Readiness camp. Like, I'm going into second grade, and I'm in second grade readiness camp.
Nice, nice. This week, Eliana's been at readiness camp, where they remind themselves what it means to be in school.
I went to a birthday party.
Cool. And what kind of birthday party was it?
A pool birthday party.
Very fun. Nice. Lots of good things coming together. Anybody else? Something good that we're bringing with us to Shabbat tonight? Yes.
I just walked in. I haven't seen them in weeks. They've been traveling, and surprise.
Wonderful. Good to see you. Good to be with friends, right? Anybody else blink and summer was nearing the end? That just happened. I can't believe it's almost August. Other wonderful things? Get all our chatter out now, right?
I accidentally dialed somebody who, on the way here, who moved from Baton Rouge about 20 some odd years ago. Was trying to call my neighbor and tell her a package was outside her door, and it dialed this fellow Paul, and we talked for about 20, 25 minutes and caught up, and it was a surprise to him. He said, "I didn't know you were still alive." So it was a big surprise.
Well, we can celebrate, Richard, that we're happy you're still here and reconnecting with people we haven't talked to in a long time. Okay, kiddo, this is the last one I'm going to let you share.
Carnival camp, and I got 10 tickets, which means I got 2 prizes at Carnival camp.
Wonderful. Lots and lots of opportunities for fun camps for kids here in Baton Rouge. As we think about all of these wonderful things we get to do during our week, let's bring the joy to this moment, to Shabbat. How great it is for us to be together. As you know, everything you need for services tonight, as long as it works, will be on the screen. But if you'd like to follow along, or perhaps maybe we'll come to a moment where we need them, there are also prayer books underneath the seats you are sitting in, which you can use as well. But how great it is for us to be together. Let us sing page 128. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, yai la la, ya la 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 la. Hine ma tov, ya la la, ya la 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 la. Hine ma tovu manayim,
shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. I invite up Pam and Jill and Becky now to help us welcome Shabbat as we light our Shabbat candles. They will begin by leading us. Anna Marks, you can come too. Yay. We begin by leading us in a reading.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Beautiful. You can light the candles. Amen. Wonderful. I'll take that microphone from you, and you can put out the lighter candle as well. Let us continue reading together page 124. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. Let us welcome Shabbat by welcoming the Sabbath bride with the words of Lecha Dodi, page 138. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor bedibor echad Hishmianu el hameyuchad Adonai echad ushmo echad L'shem u'tiferet ve'litila Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh v'maksheva techila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kiva orech kumi uri, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai, alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela. I invite you, if you're comfortable doing so, to rise to face the door so we can metaphorically greet Shabbat. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvesohola toch emunei am segula boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela. As we have just greeted Shabbat, I invite you, if you're comfortable doing so, take a moment to greet those around you, maybe someone you didn't arrive with, maybe someone you're not leaving with, and wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. I appreciate that, Cherry. Shabbat Shalom. I invite you to begin making your way back to your seats. Let us continue this theme of welcoming as we welcome the ministering angels of Shabbat on page 142, singing Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I invite you now to maybe take a deep breath, and as you inhale, hold one of the wonderful things going on in the lives of the people with us tonight, or something else great that you're thinking about. And as you exhale, try to exhale all your worries away. Don't think about the very long to-do list that might not be accomplished at home. Don't think about what's next, but allow yourself to enter these next few moments in peace and in joy. We enter this transitional moment, page 144. Yitgadal v'kadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yotev yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'b'yomechon, u'v'chayei dekol beit Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, Uvizman Kariv, Ve'imeru, Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach, Le'olam Olam Me'omaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitroman, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Kudasha, Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran melma ve'imeru. Amen. As we turn the page and find the words of our call to worship, Baruch Hu, I invite you to please rise. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai. Amen. Baruch Adonai, Hamevorach, Le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, Le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. Let us read together page 149. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Continuing together on page 150. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. As we turn the page and find the words of Shema declaring God one, I invite you to please rise. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. In a moment, we will chant together the words of Ve'ahavta, words that remind us of this relationship we have with whatever we believe God to be, and that important note of being sure to pass it on Ledor Vador from generation to generation. And why do I mention this before we chant Ve'ahavta? Because hopefully all of you out there can hear the beauty I'm hearing up here. We've heard our children in the room sing Baruch Hu. We've heard them sing Shema. And for me, although I was facing that way so none of you saw me, my face just lit up when I could hear them singing our call to worship, because that's what we're here for. We're here to make sure that Judaism continues now and into the future. And so it just warms my heart as we enter these words, which reminds us to pass it down to our children as we chant together, page 154. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. We read together page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. We sing page 158. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh, nora tehilot, o sefele, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. I want you to think for a moment about a time in your life where you felt pure bliss. A moment where, did you ask what bliss means? That's a great question. Thank you, Eliana. A time when you were extremely happy. There was nothing worrying you. And when you were in that moment, maybe you felt a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace over you. Now, I wasn't going to make you share these moments of bliss, but we have some that want to volunteer. So let's hear about some moments that we have felt true happiness.
When I first saw my new puppy, Liesel, but she's only 3 years old, so that was like 3 years ago. But I was really, really happy about that.
My seventh birthday party, and right now.
Anybody else want to share their moment of bliss they're thinking of?
Well, there was definitely a shelter there because it's when just over 31 years ago, Ralph and I got married.
Wonderful. You just celebrated your anniversary recently, right? Yeah.
Secret to a long marriage is we went to Bermuda for our honeymoon. Last year I picked her up.
I think a secret to a long marriage was that she got closer to her friends when you started. No. Anybody else thinking of moments of true bliss? More? Okay, one more each, and then we'll keep going.
All my birthdays.
It didn't happen yet, but it's gonna happen. In 2 months, my grandparents are coming.
Ah. Yes, for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So we'll see if it's hopefully still moments of bliss when you spend all day in the synagogue. Spending time with family, right? We have all these different moments in our life who have brought us true bliss.
And the reason I ask the question at this moment in our service is because in our evening prayers, we are reminded, no matter what's going on in the world around us, no matter what's happening in our own lives, to try and find a shelter of peace, a Sukkot Shalom. And for me, if I'm having trouble finding that moment, I think about a moment in my life where I felt extremely happy. And if you can transport yourself to that moment, then maybe, no matter what's going on, you can find that Sukkot Shalom, that shelter of peace. Let us read together page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei Sukkot Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. We sing together the words reminding us to celebrate Shabbat, page 162. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, Shavat vayinafash, v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. We enter now our central prayers of our evening service, our Amidah, found on pages 164 and following, and I invite you to please rise. Adonai sifatai tiktak ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotinu v'Imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei hakol, v'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot, v'mevi geula livnei v'neihem, lema'an shemo v'ahava. Melech ozer Moshiach u'magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Abraham, v'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atav rav lehoshia, morid hatal, mechakel chayim bechesed, mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, somich noflim verofei holim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melech, melech menit, umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'emanat alechayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, v'kidoshim v'kol yom yehalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. I invite you to continue now with your own prayers, either using the words in the prayer book until page 180, or using the prayers in your own hearts this evening, and I invite you to be seated whenever you wish. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Round two, we're ready to go. We are really trying to spread shalom, spread peace tonight. And maybe many of us in this space are feeling that peace, whether it's coming out of the beautiful prayers in the front row of our kids here, or the prayers that you're hearing around you. Many of us might be feeling that peace, but we know that there are those with us tonight and those of our friends, our family, our community, and across the world who are having a little bit of trouble finding their peace, and possibly it's because they suffer illness of body, illness of spirit, or illness of mind. So we turn our prayers now to those in need of healing. As a community tonight, we think of Joy Lewis, Minna Bat Yentl, Anna Carlo, Judy Roheim, Frida Tamaro Bat Liba Bela, Menucha Pesa Bat Cherny Umosha, Gretchen Haynes, Ruby Smolinski, Jennifer Casson, Storm Matthews, Terry Stern, Judith Von Brentnell, Kaylee Barron, David Berman, Harvey Schwartzberg, Maxine Cohn, David Leake, Barbara Stockner, Janet Gerwich, Danielle Riker, Laura Swire, Susan Wasserman, Nevin Rose, Cindy DeMarco, Sheldon Rawson, James Stockner, Vicki Jenkins, Steve Ginsberg, Yitzchak Dov Ben Chana, Devorah Bat Yaakov Chaim Vabela, Paula Vianu, Rachel Abadi, Joshua Abadi, and Paula Samuels. If there are others you are thinking of this evening in need of healing, if you'd like to share their names aloud, I invite you to do so. For all those names we heard aloud and for those whom we hold in our hearts, let us together turn to the words of Misha Berach, our prayer of healing, on page 371. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. No matter your personal politics, your thoughts on the current administration or the options for the next one, I think we can all agree that on Sunday, we witnessed a man who humbly announced to our country that he was going to step aside. He took the courage necessary to teach the important lesson that sometimes we must think of others more than ourselves. We do not know what is next for our country, but this is not the first time something like this has happened. When George Washington gave his farewell address to the nation on September 17, 1796, after serving 2 terms as president, he informed the new nation that he was taking himself out of consideration for another term. He announced this decision 155 years before the 22nd Amendment limiting presidential terms was ratified. And this speech was made even more famous again when Hamilton came out on Broadway because of these lyrics.
I'm stepping down, I'm not running for president. I'm sorry, what? One last time. Relax, have a drink with me one last time. Let's take a break tonight, and then we'll teach him how to say goodbye. To say goodbye, you and I.
But just as no one knew exactly how the transition of power would transpire after Washington's presidency, and we do not know what will happen in November and then in January when the next president takes office, it wasn't entirely clear what would happen following Moses's retirement either. This, to me, is a comforting lesson at a time when I need constant comfort and reassurance. Because during the transition of power from Moses to Joshua, when the Israelites were at constant time of wandering, they were still able to persevere and endure. This week, we read in the book of Numbers about how God guides Moses to transition his leadership role to Joshua. God tells Moses, "Single out Joshua, son of Nun, an inspired individual, and lay your hand upon him. Have him stand before Eleazar the priest and before the whole community, and commission him in their sight. Invest him with some of your authority so that the whole Israelite community may obey." Like so many verses in Torah, God's instructions teach us more if we read them with commentary than if we would just read them alone. In this verse, scholars ask many questions, trying to figure out the meaning of the phrase, "commission him in their sight." According to Rashi, Joshua's commissioning involved Moses giving his young successor a public charge. This commentary teaches that Joshua should know that the people are troublesome and insubordinate, and taking over the leadership role will be no walk in the park. Nachmanides, however, takes issue with this interpretation. He thinks there is no way that Moses would have spoken harshly about the people in a public address. Instead, he teaches that Moses instructed Joshua how the inner workings of the Israelite community should go. This would allow the people to have faith in Joshua as their leader, because Moses told him how everything works. The important thing is that in this moment of transition, according to our text, is that the people, the greater community, had the opportunity to see a smooth transition of power. So when we do not know how a transition of power might go, where can we look to find comfort? One place to find it is in the words which Moses used to address God in this week's portion. In order to get to a smooth transition of power, Moses needed to ask God who he should appoint as the next leader. When Moses approaches God, he calls God Elohei Haruchot, Lekol Basar Ish Al Ha'edut, God, the source of the breath of all flesh. I'm going to say it again. God, the source of the breath of all flesh. I repeated it because it's really a strange phrase. Why does Moses use such a unique and lengthy title when addressing God in this moment? Rashi answers this question by teaching that the phrase means, Lord of the universe, the personality of each person is revealed to you, and no two are alike. Appoint over them a leader who will tolerate each person according to his individual character. Moses, then, in calling God out, is asking God to find a successor who will cherish the people's diversity, who will appreciate a variety of different opinions, interpretations, ideas, and perspectives. Seems exactly like what we need as well in this moment of our modern history. May the next leader of our nation be like Joshua, one who holds up all people in all of our differences and protects difference and regards it as a blessing, who recognizes that in our diversity is our strength. And may the transition of power, no matter the outcome of the election, be one of peace. Shabbat Shalom. At this time, I'm going to invite us to return to our prayer books as we turn to our concluding prayers, which can be found in our books on page 586. Do my friends over here in this front row want to come up and help? Anna Mark, Celiana, Isaac. Yeah, we're all looking at that candy. We got to do some work first. Don't do anything yet, but I tell you, we are on page 586 where we find the words of Aleinu, and I invite you to please rise. Okay, now you can open it. Use the handles. Good job. Can we go all the way?
Just why I'm strong.
Everybody's strong.
Yeah, we're all strong.
Okay, you ready? We join together. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latek yedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot adama, shelo samchelkenu kahem, vigoralenu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Notei Shamayim Ve'Yoser Haaretz U'Moshe Yikaro B'Shamayim Ima'al Ushkinatuzo, Ushkinatuzo, Begov He Meromim, Hu Eloheinu Ein Od, Emit Malkeinu Efesulato, Kakatu Betorato, Veyadata Hayom, Vehashebota Elibabeha, Ki Adonai, Hu Ha-Elohim, Bashamayim Mimal, Ve'al Haaretz, Mitachat, Ein Od, Ein Od. Let us read together page 591. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. Ve'nemar ve'haya Adonai lemelech kol haaretz bayom hahu yehia Adonai echad ushemo echad. I love the enthusiasm, but you may now close the ark. If the grown-ups that are in charge of these children later are okay with them taking candy, friends, you can take a piece of candy, and everybody else, you may be seated. It's a hard job to pick a piece of candy, isn't it, friends? As our prayers begin to draw to a close, we turn our thoughts to our loved ones who are no more. Tonight we remember one taken from us recently, Mordechai Rosenstein. And to his name, we add the names of all of those who passed away in the past year: John Roheim, Barry Burton, Shirley Judge, Betty Simmons, Lee Kaplan, Joanne Bender, Leonard Knackman, Rowan Hausman, Maureen Corcoran, Lucy Silva, Larry Zachem, Richard Price Marcus, Eddie Goldman, Eleanor McKee, Faye Roos, Joseph Schieber, Elaine Rose Kaplan, James Coker, Harry Rubenstein Saxey, Chuck Schwing, Carol Kane, and Arlette Goldstein. We also think of all of those who died at this season in years past and whose family members are observing the Yortzeit anniversary of death on this Shabbat. Mark Becker, Minnie Berlin, Mark Bloomberg, Charles Cohn, Ann Hinson, Eva Ingerman, Flora Weil-Katz, Edda Schwartz-Kessler, Vivian Krupkin, Max Levine, Raoul Levy, Donnie Mabry, Carol Ann Hausman Marks, Joe Amos Marks, Frank McGuire, Isaac Albert Meyer, Isaac Palais, Clarice Pessis, Miriam Radlauer, Leonard Rosenson, Jules Rosenthal, I.E. Rubin, and Betty Scher. If there are others you are remembering tonight, if you'd like to share their names aloud, I invite you to do so. For all those names we heard aloud and those whom we hold in our hearts, let us turn together to the words of Mourner's Kaddish, page 598, and I invite you to rise if you wish. Yit gadol v'yit kadash shemei Rabba, ve'alma divrach hirotev yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchayet dakol beit Yisrael, v'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach leolam ulamei almaya, yit barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha barichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Zikro nam livracha, may all their memories be for a blessing. As together we say, Amen. You may be seated. I don't know what your DVRs are doing later this evening, but mine will be recording a very special opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in Paris. I don't know if you are on social media, but many of you might have seen the most beautiful, peaceful picture I have seen in a while. It is going around. If you have not seen it yet, I invite you to go find it, but of a full moon rising between the Olympic circles on the Eiffel Tower. It is a very beautiful picture that one of the Olympic photographers was able to capture. So if you have not seen that picture from yesterday or the day before, I invite you to find it online. It is a gorgeous picture of seeing this idea of a moon coming through those concentric circles, moments that were supposed to be of unity, that people from all over the world, no matter what's happening in their country, come together, the best of the best of the best, to compete in their sport. So we know there's a lot of turmoil going on around the world. So as we enter this Shabbat, which also begins our Summer Olympics, I'm looking forward to gymnastics. I just found out that, what did you tell me is a new sport this summer? Is breakdancing an Olympic sport now, friends? So maybe some of you I'll see at the Olympics in the future. So I'm looking forward to many things, but the thing I think I'm looking forward to most is seeing people of all different faiths, all different colors, all different shapes, all different sizes coming together to peacefully show some healthy competition. So let us send all of the beautiful prayers of peace we have been sending this evening for Shabbat also to Paris, to the 2024 Summer Olympic Games, and hope for nothing but celebration, competition, and healthy spirits together. Amen, amen, amen. If you're not glued to your tube, which I'm DVRing all of it, so I can fast forward, to be honest, through the stuff I don't want to watch, but please continue to join us in all of the activities that are coming up. Tomorrow morning, we'll have Torah study at 9:30, Minyan at 10, and then services at 10:30. Tomorrow night, you can join Havdalah on Zoom, hosted by the Saxey family at 6. And then let's look ahead a little bit. Anybody else shocked that it's August? Like, any moment. Mark your calendars for Monday, August 12th, when we will come together at 6 p.m. to commemorate Tisha B'Av, the 9th day of the month of Av. You will join us, please, to commemorate hardships from this past year and from history, and hopefully bring some hope to our future. Also, mark your calendars for Friday, August 16th, which will be Music Shabbat with Michael and Joey Roth. Also mark your calendars for Wednesday, August 21st, which is when we will come together for dinner and a discussion of congregational values as the next step on our naming journey. Of course, for more details about all of this information, you can go to our website or look at our weekly announcements. And tonight, immediately following services, everyone is invited to join for Oneg, hosted by Pam, Jill, and Becky. Thank you so very much. So when we are concluded here, we'll join together in our social hall to continue socializing and have a little sweet treats, savory treats, and a bit of nosh. But before we do that, let us close out by singing and by sanctifying our moment with wine and with challah. Page 625, we sing Adon Olam. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Liet Nasa, B'chefsa Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Livado Yimloch Nora Adon Olam, Vehu Haya, Vehu Hoveh, Vehu Yeh B'tifara Adon Olam, Vehu Echad, Ve'ein Sheni, Laham Shilo Lehachbira Adon Olam, Beli Reshit, Beli Tachlit, Velo Ha'oz V'ha'misra Adon Olam, Vehu Eli, V'chai Goali, V'tzor Chevli Be'et Sarah Adon Olam, Vehu Nisi, Umanos Li, Minat Kosi B'yom Ekra Adon Olam, Beyado, Afkid Ruchi, Ve'et Ishan Ve'ayira Adon Olam, Ve'im Ruchi, Geviati, Adonai li velo ira Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Liet Nasa, B'chefsa Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam. Tonight, I actually think we are the perfect size to all come together to do Kiddush and Motzi. So I invite you, if you are comfortable doing so, to come join so we can join together. Please Thank you.